Welcome back to Beyond Wisdom, where we explore timeless truths for a more peaceful and meaningful life. Overthinking is one of the great silent burdens of the modern mind. We spin scenarios, rehearse conversations, and try to predict futures we can't control. But more than 2,000 years ago, Stoic philosophers offered a simple principle that still cuts through mental noise, like a sword through fog. If you've ever found yourself caught in spirals of doubt or indecision, this ancient rule may bring the clarity you didn't know you were missing. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. This is the core Stoic principle. It may sound simple, but its power lies in how deeply it challenges our daily habits of mind. Epictetus, once a slave who became a revered philosopher, taught that the only things truly under our control are our thoughts, choices, and actions. Everything else, what others say, the weather, outcomes, even our bodies, are not fully ours to command. Most overthinking happens when we place mental energy into things that fall outside this boundary. We worry about what others think, about how events might unfold, or about past choices that cannot be undone. But once you draw that invisible line between what belongs to you and what doesn't, you begin to reclaim your peace. It's not a rule of passivity, but one of disciplined attention. The Stoics weren't indifferent. They were precise. They focused fully on what they could influence and released the rest. The mind needs a boundary. Overthinking often feels like freedom, a way to explore every possibility, to be prepared for anything. But in reality, it's a kind of prison. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, understood this well. In his private writings, he reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wrote this not as poetry, but as practice. In the chaos of war and politics, he trained his mind to stop wandering into useless territory. He created a mental boundary. Is this thing within my influence? If not, I leave it alone. In this way, the Stoic rule becomes more than a concept. It becomes a filter. Each time the mind starts spinning, you ask, is this mine to carry? If it's not, set it down. Overthinking is often disguised fear. Behind the mental noise, there is usually fear. Fear of failure, rejection, embarrassment, or simply the unknown. We imagine every angle because we want to avoid pain. But Stoicism doesn't promise comfort. It promises clarity. Seneca, a wealthy advisor to emperors, spent much of his life reminding others, and himself, that suffering comes more from anticipation than reality. "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," he wrote. That line alone has calmed countless minds across centuries. He wasn't saying to stop thinking. He was showing that fear grows in empty space. When you focus on action instead of fantasy, fear shrinks. When you practice the Stoic rule, you shift from endless guessing to purposeful doing. Action quiets the mind. A Stoic doesn't just think, they act. And this is where the rule becomes transformative. Instead of thinking about every option, you identify what's yours to do, and then you do it. Epictetus was very clear on this. Philosophy isn't for show. It's a tool for life. If something is up to you, like your effort, your words, your choice, then act. If it's not, then leave it alone. That sounds severe, but it's actually freeing. Overthinking is often a mask for delay. We say we're preparing, but we're avoiding. We say we're being careful, but we're stuck in fear. The Stoic rule cuts through this with one question. What's in my control right now? If there's something, move toward it. If there's not, be still. The present moment is where control lives. The Stoics were not abstract thinkers living in caves. They were statesmen, soldiers, teachers, and rulers immersed in the real world. And they understood something essential. The only place you can apply your control is the present moment. Thinking too much about the future or the past scatters your power. The Stoic rule grounds you here. If your mind starts replaying old conversations or rehearsing unlikely futures, you gently return to now. Not with force, but with discipline. Ask, what's mine to do in this moment? Even if the answer is to rest, to wait, or to breathe, it's enough. You regain your power not by controlling outcomes, but by controlling attention. Simplicity is a form of strength. Overthinking thrives in complexity. We think if we consider every angle, we'll be stronger. But the Stoics believed that real strength lies in simplicity. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to strip things down to their essence, to see events as they are, not as we fear or hope they'll be. When you stop trying to predict, control, or please everything, life becomes simpler. Not easier, but clearer. And in that clarity, your energy returns. Simplicity doesn't mean carelessness. It means choosing to focus only on what truly matters and leaving the rest. Let nature take its course. This final part of the rule is the hardest to live by, but the most liberating. The Stoics believed in a natural order to things. You do your part, and then trust the unfolding. This doesn't mean blind faith, but deep humility. You make your choices, speak your truth, show up fully, and then you step back. The tree grows on its own. The sun rises without your planning. In the same way, outcomes often reveal themselves in time. Overthinking tries to speed this up, but wisdom waits. Wisdom lets go. When you've done all you can within your control, you let life move as it will. That is not giving up, it's growing up. The Stoic rule, control what you can, let go of what you can't, may be one of the most grounding truths we've inherited from the ancient world. Not because it makes life easier, but because it makes it clearer. When we stop trying to manage what doesn't belong to us, we return to ourselves. We find peace, not by knowing everything, but by doing the next right thing and trusting that it's enough. When you catch yourself overthinking, what's one way you remind yourself of what's truly in your control? Let us know in the comments. Your reflection might help someone else. Thanks for watching. If this video brought you value, subscribe to Beyond Wisdom. Until next time, stay calm, stay strong, and stay wise.